Then, in the presence of Vasudeva, Maya Danava, having worshipped Arjuna, repeatedly spoke unto him with joined hands and in amiable words. Son of Kunti, saved have I been by thee from this Krishna in spate, and from Pavaka, desirous of consuming me. Tell me what I have to do for thee. Arjuna said, Great Asura, everything hath already been done by thee. Blessed be thou, go whatsoever thou likest. Be kind and well disposed towards me, as we are even kind to and well pleased with thee. Maya said, Bo amongst men, what thou hast said is worthy of thee. Exalted on, I desire to do something for thee self-fully. I am a great artist, a Visvakarman among the Danavas. Son of Pandu, being what I am, I desire to do something for thee. Arjuna said, Sinless one, thou regardest thyself as saved from imminent death, even if it have been. I cannot make thee do anything for me. At the same time, Danava, I do not wish to frustrate thy intentions. Do thou something for Krishna. That will be a sufficient requital for my service to thee. Then, urged by Maya, Vasudeva reflected for a moment to what he should ask Maya to accomplish. Krishna, the Lord of the universe and the creator of every object, having reflected in his mind, thus commanded Maya, Let a Palatya Saviha, as thou choosest, be built, if thou, son of Diti, who art the foremost of our artists, desirous to do good to Yudhishthira, the just. Indeed, build thou such a palace that persons belonging to the world of men may not be able to imitate it even after examining it with care, while seated within. Maya, build thou a mansion in which we may behold a combination of godly, azuriki, and human designs. Having heard those words, Maya became exceedingly glad, and he forthwith built a magnificent palace for the son of Pandu, like unto the palace of the celestials themselves. Then Krishna and Partha, after having narrated everything unto King Yudhishthira the just, introduced Maya unto him. Yudhishthira received Maya with respect, offering him the honor he deserved, and Maya accepted that honor, thinking highly of it. That great son of Diti then recited unto the sons of Pandu the history of the Danava Vrisha Parva, and that foremost of artists then, having rested a while, set himself after much thoughtful planning to build a palace for the illustrious sons of Pandu. Agreeably to the wishes of both Krishna and the sons of Pritha, the illustrious Danava of great prowess, having performed on an auspicious day the Nitya propitiatory rites of foundation, and having gratified thousands of well-versed Brahmanas with sweetened milk and rice, and with rich presents of various kinds, measured out a plot of land 5,000 cubits square, which was delightful and exceedingly handsome to behold, and which was favorably for the construction of a building well suited to the exigencies of every season. Janardana, deserving the worship of all, having lived happily at Kihandava Prastiha for some time, and having been treated all the while with respectful love and affection by the sons of Pritha, became desirous one day of leaving Kihandava Prastiha, to behold his father, that possessor of large eyes, unto whom was due the obeisance of the universe, then saluted both Yudhishthira and Pritha, and made obeisance with his head unto the feet of Kunti, his father's sister. Thus Haveret Bakesava, Pritha smelt his head and embraced him. The illustrious Hirishikesa approached his own sister Subhadra affectionately, with his eyes filled with tears, and spoke unto her words of excellent import and truth, thus proper and unanswerably and fraught with good. The sweet-speeched Subhadra, saluting him in her turn, and worshipped him repeatedly with bent head, told him all that she wished to be conveyed her relatives on the paternal side, and bidding her farewell and uttering benedictions on his handsome sister, he of the Vrishni race next saw Draupadi and the Haumia. That best of men duly made obeisance unto the Haumia, and consoling Draupadi obtained leave from her. Then the learned and mighty Krishna, accompanied by Partha, went to his cousins, and surrounded by the 5 brothers, Krishna shone like Sakra in the midst of the celestials, he whose banner bore the figure of Gadiura, desirous of performing the rites preparatory to the commencement of a journey, purified himself by a bath, and adorned his person with ornaments. The bull of the Yadu race then worshipped the gods and Brahmanas with floral wreaths, mantras, bows of the head, and excellent perfumes. Having finished all these rites, that foremost of steed and virtuous persons then talked of setting out. The chief of the Yadu race then came out of the inner to the outer apartment, and ensuing thence he made unto Brahmanas, deserving of worship, offerings of vessel full of curd and fruits, and parched grain, and caused them to pronounce benedictions upon him, and making unto them presents of wealth, he went round them. Then ascending his excellent car of gold, endued with great speed, and adorned with banner, bearing the figure of Tarkihia, and furnished with mace, discus, sword, his bow, siharga, and other weapons, and yoking thereunto his horses, Saivia and Sugriva, he of eyes like lotus, set out at an excellent moment of a lunar day of auspicious stellar conjunction. And Yudhishthira, the king of the Kurus, from affection ascended the chariot after Krishna, and causing that best chariota, Daruka, to stand aside, himself took the reins. And Arjuna, of long arms, riding on that car, walked round Krishna, and feigned him with a white hamara, furnished with a handle of gold, and the mighty Bhishmasena, accompanied by the twin brothers Nakula and Sahadeva, and the priests and the citizens, all followed Krishna from behind, and Kesava, that slayer of hostile heroes, followed by all the brothers, shone like a preceptor, followed by his favorite pupils. Then Govinda spoke unto Arjuna, and clasped him firmly, and worshipping Yudhishthira and Bhima, embraced the twins, and embraced in return by the 3 elder Pandavas, he was reverentially saluted by the twins, after having gone about half Ayodhya. Krishna, that subjugator of hostile towns, respectfully addressed Yudhishthira, and requested him to stop following him further. And Govinda, conversant with every duty, then reverentially saluted Yudhishthira, and took hold of his feet. Yudhishthira soon raised Kesava, and smelt his head. King Yudhishthira, the just, the son of Pandu, having raised Krishna, endued with eyes like lotus petals, and the foremost of the Yadava race, gave him leave, saying, "Goodbye." Then they slay of Madhu, making an appointment with them in wars that were proper, and preventing with difficulty the Pandavas from following him further on foot, gladly proceeded towards his own seat, like Indra going towards Amaravati. Out of the love and affection they bore him, the Pandavas gazed on Krishna as long as he was within sight, and their minds followed him when he got out of sight. And Kesava, of agreeable person, soon disappeared from their sight. Unsatiated talk their minds were with looking at him. Those bulls among men, the sons of Pritha, with minds fixed on Govinda, desisted, and, unwilling, returned to their own seat in haste. And Krishna, in his car, soon reached Devaraka, followed by that hero, Satyaki. Then Sauri, the son of Devaki, accompanied by his chariot, Daruka, reached Devaraka with the speed of Gadyura. Meanwhile, King Yudhishthira, of unfailing glory, accompanied by his brothers and surrounded by friends, entered his excellent capital. In that time among men, dismissing all his relatives, brothers, and sons, sought to make himself happy in the company of Draupadi. In Kesava, worshipped by the principal Yadavas, including Ugrasena, entered with a happy heart his own excellent city. And worshipping his old father and his illustrious mother, and saluting Valadeva, he of eyes like lotus petals, took his seat. Embracing Pradyumna, Sihamba, Nishatiha, Hahudesna, Gada, Anihudiha, and Bihanu, and obtaining leave of the elderly men, Janardana entered the apartments of Hukimini. Then Mayadanava addressed Arjuna, that foremost of successful warriors, saying, I go with thy leave, shall come back soon. On the north of the Kailasa peak, near the mountains of Mainaka, while the Danavas were engaged in a sacrifice on the banks of Vindu Lake, I gathered a whole quantity of delightful and variegated vanda, composed of juice and jams. This was placed in the mansion of Virisha Parva, ever devoted to truth. If it be yet existing, I shall come back with it. I shall then commence the construction of the delightful palace of the Pandavas, which is to be adorned with every kind of gems and celebrated all over the world. There is, I think, thou of Kuru Reis, a fish club placed in the lake Vindu by the king, after slaughtering therewith all his foes in battle, besides being heavy and strong and variegated with golden knobs. It is capable of bearing great weight, and of slaying all foes, and is equal in strength unto 100,000 clubs. It is a fit weapon for Bhishma, even as the Gandiva is for thee. There is a large conch shell, called Devadatta, of loud sound, that came from Varuna. I shall no doubt give out these to thee. Having spoken thus unto Partha, the Asura went away in a north-easterly direction. On the north of Kailasa, in the mountains of Mainaka, there is a hug peak of gems and jewels, called Hiranya Siringa. Near that peak is a delightful lake of the name of Vindu. There, on its banks, previously dwelt King Vihagihatiha for many years, desiring to behold the goddess Ganga. So is called Vihagihatihi, after that king name. And there, on its banks, Indra, the illustrious lord of every created thing, performed 100 great sacrifices. There, for the sake of beauty, talk not according to the dictates of the ordinance, were placed sacrificial stakes made of gems and altars of gold. There, after performing those sacrifices, the thousand-eyed Lord of Sakhi became crowned with success. There, the fierce Mahadeva, the eternal Lord of every creature, has taken up his abode after having created all the worlds, and there he dwelleth, worshipped with reverence by thousands of spirits. Then Nara and Narayana, Brahma and Yama and Sitihanu the fifth performed their sacrifice at the expiration of 1,000 yugas. There, for the establishment of virtue and religion, Vasudeva, with pious devotion, performed his sacrifices, extending for many long years. There were placed Vakeshava, thousands and 10,000s of sacrificial stakes, adorned with golden garlands and altars of great splendor. Going thither, Maya brought back the club and the conch shell, and the various crystalline articles that had belonged to King Virisha Parva, and the great Asura, Maya, having gone thither, possessed himself of the whole of the great wealth which was guarded by Yakishas and Hakishas. Bringing them, the Asura constructed there with a peerless palace, which was of a great beauty and of celestial make, composed entirely of gems and precious stones, and celebrated throughout the three worlds. He gave unto Bhishmasena that best of clubs, and unto Arjuna the most excellent conch shell, at whose sound all creatures trembled in awe. And the palace that Maya built consisted of columns of gold and occupied area of 5,000 cubits. The palace, possessing an excellent, beautiful form, like unto that of Agni or Surya or Soma, shone in great splendor, and by its brilliance seemed to darken even the bright rays of the sun. And with the effulgence it exhibited, which was a mixture of both celestial and terrestrial light, it looked as if it was on fire, like unto a mass of new clouds conspicuous in the sky. The palace rose up, coming into view of all. Indeed, the palace that the dexterous Maya built was so wide, delightful in reflection, and composed of such excellent materials, and furnished with such golden walls and archways, and adorned with so many varied pictures, and was so rich and well built, that in beauty it far surpassed Sudharma of the Dasaraha race, or the mansion of Brahma himself. And 8,000 Hakishasas, called Kinkaras, fierce, hug-bodied, and endowed with great strength, of head, coppery eyes, and arrowy ears, well armed and capable of hanging through the air, used to guard and protect that palace. Within that palace, Maya placed a peerless tank, and in that tank were lotuses, with leaves of dark color-red gems, and stalks of bright jewels, and other flowers of golden leaves, and aquatic fowls of various species sported on its bosom, itself variegated with full-blown lotuses, and stocked with fishes and tortoises of golden hue. Its bottom was without mud, and its water transparent. There was a flight of crystal stairs, leading from the banks to the edge of the water. The gentle breezes that swept along its bosom softly shook the flowers that stood at it. The banks of that tank were overlaid with slabs of costly marble set with pearls, and beholding that tank thus adorned around with jewels and precious stones, many kings that came there mistook it for land, and fell into it with eyes open. Many tall trees of various kinds were planted around the palace, of green foliage and cool shade, and ever blossoming. They were all very charming to behold. Artificial woods were laid around, always emitting a delicious fragrance, and there were many tanks that were adorned with swans and carandavas and cacravacas in the grounds lying about the mansion, and the breeze bearing the fragrance of lotuses growing in water and ministered unto the pleasure and happiness of the Pandavas. And Maya, having constructed such a palatial hall, within 14 months, reported its completion unto Yudhishthira. Then that chief of men, King Yudhishthira, entered that palatial Sabha, having first fed 10,000 Brahmanas with preparations of milk and rice mixed with clarified butter and honey, with fruits and roots, and with pork and venison. The king gratified those superior Brahmanas who had come from various countries with food seasoned with sesamum, and prepared with vegetables called jibanti, with rice mixed with clarified butter, with different preparations of meat, with indeed various kinds of other food, numberless viands that are fit to be sucked, and innumerable kinds of drinks, with new and unused robes and clothes, and with excellent floral wreaths. And the king gave unto each of those Brahmanas 1,000 kine. The voice of the gratified Brahmanas, uttering, "What an auspicious day is this!" became so loud that it seemed to reach heaven itself. And when the Kuru king entered the palatial Sabha, having worshipped the gods with various kinds of music and numerous species of excellent and costly perfumes, the athletes and mimes and prize fighters and bards and communists began to gratify that illustrious son of the Dharma by exhibiting their skill, and celebrating his entry into the palace. Yudhishthira with his brothers sported within that palace like Sakra himself in heaven. Upon the seats in that palace sat, along with the Pandavas, rishis and kings that came from various countries, Asita, Devala, Satya, Sarpamali, Mahasira, Arvavasu, Sumitra, Maitreya, Sunaka, Vali, Vaka, Dalvia, Sitihu Lasira, Krishna, Divai Payana, Suka, Sumanta, Jaimini, Paila, and the disciples of Vyasa ourselves. Titiri, Yajana Valkia, Lomaharshana, with his son, Apisuhomia, Dhaumia, Animandavia, Kausika, Damos Nisha, Traivali, Parnada, Varayanuka, Maunjayana, Vayubihakisha, Parasaria, Sarika, Valivaka, Silivaka, Satyapala, Krita, Srama, Jatukarna, Sikihavat, Alamva, Parjataka, the exalted Parvata, and the great Muni Markandeya, Pavitrapani, Savarna, Vihaluki, Galava, Jangiha Bandihu, Haivihia, Kopavega, Bihirigu, Harivabihu, Kaundinia, Vabihu Mali, Sanatana, Kakishivat, Ashija, Nakhiketa, Aushija, Gautama, Painga, Varaha, Sunaka, Sandilia of great ascetic merit, Kukura, Venu, Jangira, Kalapa, Katiha, these virtues and learned munis, with sense and souls under complete control, and many others, numerous, are well skilled in the Vedas and Vedangas, and conversant with morality, and pure and spotless in behavior, waited on the illustrious Yudhishthira, and gladdened him by their sacred discourse. Numerous principal Kshatriyas, such as the illustrious and virtuous Munjaketu, Vivardhana, Sangramjit, Durmukha, the powerful Ugrasena, Kakishasena, the Lord of the earth, Kishemaka, the invincible, Kamatiha, the king of Cambodia, and the might Kampana, who alone made the Yavanas to ever tremble at his name, just as the god that yieldeth the thunderbolt maketh those Asuras, the Kalakeyas, tremble before him, Jatasura, and the king of Madrakas, Kunti, Pulinda, the king of the Kiratas, and the kings of Anga, and Vanga, Pandriya, and the king of Udihara, Andihaka, Sumitra, Saivia, that slayer of foes, Sumanas, the king of the Kiratas, Hanur, the king of the Yavanas, Devarata, Bihoja, and the Khaled Bhima Hatiha, Sihu Tayudiha, the king of Kalinga, Jayasena, the king of Magadha, Sukarman, Hekitana, Puru, that slayer of foes, Ketumata, Vasudana, Vaideha, Kritakshana, Subharman, Anihudiha, Sihu Tayu, ended with great strength. The invincible Anuparaja, the handsome Karmajiti, Sisupala, with his son, the king of Karusha, and the invincible youths of the Vrishnis are equal in beauty unto the celestials. Ahoka, Vipritihu, Sada, Sarana, Akruha, Kritavarman, Satyaka, the son of Sini, Vihismaka, Ankriti, and the powerful Dyumatsena, the chief of bowmen, the Kaikeyas, and Yajinasena of the Somaka race. These Kshatriyas, endowed with great might, are well armed in wealth, and many others regarded the foremost, are waited upon Yudhishthira, the son of Kunti, in that Sabha, desirous of ministering to his happiness. And those princes, endowed with great strength, who dressing themselves in deer skins, learned the science of weapons under Arjuna, waited upon Yudhishthira, the prince of the Vrishnis, Pradyumna, and Samba, and Yudhishthira, the son of Satyaki, and Sudhiharman, and Anihudiha, and Saivia, that foremost of men who had learned the science of arms under Arjuna, these and many other kings, used to wait on Yudhishthira on that occasion. And that friend of the Dhananjaya, Tumburu, and the Gandhirva, Hitasena, with his ministers, and many other Gandhirvas and Apsaras were skilled in vocal and instrumental music and in cadence of kinnaras, well versed in merceries and motions, singing celestial tunes in proper and charming voices, waited upon and gladdened the sons of Pandu and Rishis, who sat in that Sabha, and seated in that Sabha, those who among men of rigid vows and devoted to truth are waited upon Yudhishthira like the celestials in heaven waiting upon Brahma.